Love the Wednesday wrangle with Liz Storer and Justin Smith. Good to see you guys. Isn't it nice to know we're back into climate and energy policy and we can argue about that for a year until the next election, Liz?
Bring it on, especially with Justin, Chris. I can't wait.
I tell you what, let's have a look at tomorrow's cartoon from Johannes Leek. I reckon this tells the story for us. This is what Johannes Leek has done for tomorrow's Australian. He's got each way Albo's coal conversion concoction. See it to believe it, folks. But in the other ute, he's got the net zero ute with crazy ScoMo's green jobs juice. I believe in miracles, do you? He's spot on, isn't he, Liz? Both sides now are just selling fanciful climate policies.
Absolutely. I love this. And what I love even more, Chris, is ScoMo's refusal to give them this 2050 zero target, to commit to it, because this is an honest PM. He knows it would just be lip service. He knows it's actually a pile of bollocks.
A what?
And he's simply saying, look, it'd be nice if we get there, but he's not giving them what they want, and I absolutely love that about this man. He's standing his ground saying, we're going to do what's best for Australia. We're only responsible for 1.3% of emissions. America, China, India, you guys go for it. Absolutely. Cut down on your emissions, but we are not going to crucify our nation's prosperity to achieve what in the big scheme of things?
Hang on. Isn't he just doing having a bit each way here himself, Justin? He's saying he's going to get there. He's just as green as Labor, but he's just not putting a date on it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there must be something wrong with my audio, because I think I heard Liz say that he was an honest PM. But anyway, we shall move on from that. He is certainly having a bob each way.
No, you can't get away with that. You're going to say ScoMo's dishonest?
I'm going to tell you this, that I think he's the one who's having a bob each way, and I think that he is a con man when it comes to climate change, because clearly he now has to believe that climate change is real because he is trying to lower emissions. Otherwise, if climate change wasn't real, you wouldn't even bother about it. However, when he does it, he still has to have a go, has to have a dig at what was the thing he was talking about, the people in the cafes and the people who sip on wine, and had to fire a few shots at them. He likes to make sure he's got a foot in the green camp, but also he's able to slag off at people who believe that climate change is real.
Yeah, he's riding either side of it, I suppose, as all politicians tried to do. Let me show you what happened in Tasmania today, because this is a classic, because those cafe inner-city lefty elites are sipping their lattes in the cafes, Justin, that you don't like him calling out, that most of the journos don't like him calling out. It doesn't matter how woke you go, you can never satisfy them, because Tanya Plibersek and the Labor leader in Tasmania today were doing like a women's woke talk fest, and this is what happened.
Do you know Australia's rate of deforestation is on par with Brazil, Indonesia and the Congo? Are you aware of this data, this information?
The forests are getting destroyed, the environment is getting destroyed, and you're all doing nothing about it. We need to speak to our leaders directly, and that's what we're here doing, because we want to see change.
There you go, Liz. Even Tanya Plibersek is not woke enough for them.
Clearly, they're not quite sure whose meeting they're at, Chris. I mean, what did I just watch? She's your champion, ladies. Back her. Wrong meeting. That's absolutely hilarious. But honestly, these guys, there is no pleasing them. We've seen that with various policies brought out by various parties, whether on a state and federal level. The radicals, the extremists, the radical Greens, they're still not happy. So honestly, I've stopped wondering why any politician actually
there is only one way to power a modern economy effectively with emissions-free electricity, and that is nuclear. And any politician or activist who refuse to consider nuclear is not serious. Their hypocrisy is exposed. Let's just move on briefly, Justin, because I've got to get your thoughts on this video. You must have loved this during the week.
But what happens when one person takes action without an agreement?
You do, huh? well, drink it. Drink it all.
So that's clarified everything for you, Justin, when it comes to consent?
That is the stupidest campaign I've ever seen in my life. And I've got to tell you, what the hell do these people have against milkshakes? Milkshakes are lovely concoctions on this planet. Why did they need to drag milkshakes into this? And I've got to tell you, the three of us are in the wrong business. $3.8 million that has been spent on this thing. Now, you and I the three of us could sit here in the next 30 seconds, have a quick brainstorm and come up with a campaign that is 10 times better than the crap that they put together for this thing. Not only was it expensive and stupid, it just won't work. I don't know who they thought the target was for this thing, but they didn't even come close. And the people who signed off on this should have a milkshake smeared in their face at some point when the chances
all of us in our various guises and various jobs over the years have been communication specialists. And Liz, if that's your effort at communication, you ought to hand your badge in, right?
Absolutely, Chris. I wish I could laugh about this, but honestly, we know we have a domestic crisis. Domestic crisis, violence, it's unfolding right under our noses. Anyone who's over the stats knows that. I've worked in high schools for many years with girls, and I tell you, for our government to be pumping out this utter rubbish, even the way that it's shot, you know, these two cute people in a 1960s diner is so far removed from the reality of what our young people are facing. We know that girls that age are the number one victims of sexual assault, and guys that age, unfortunately, are the number one perpetrators of that assault. This ad casting the woman as the aggressor. I mean, there's literally not one thing in this video where you can go, oh yeah, I can see what they were trying to get across there. I can see that. From start to finish, it doesn't use the word sex, it doesn't use the words consult, it doesn't even say consent, which is apparently what this is all about.
It uses far too many words.
It uses Teletubbies.
It uses way too many words and none of them are effective. Really, governments shouldn't be telling people about consent. This should be happening in families and in human relationships and through schools. But if you must have a government video on these issues, have a look at the POMs. The POMs seem to do it with a bit of cut through and a bit of humour. Have a look.
And this is the important part again. Don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea.
Trouble is now I'm never going to be able to ask anyone for a cup of tea again, but there we go. Thanks for joining us, Liz and Justin.
Or a milkshake.
Or a milkshake. Thanks for joining us. See you next week. Liz Storer and Justin Smith there in our Wednesday Wrangle.